Hey guys, it's Tyler, and today I'd like to discuss one of the glaring issues from the Chargers' most recent loss to the Saints, and that is the offensive line. But I can't do it alone, so I'm bringing in Steven, who's already checked out the offensive line, and he's been physically ill rewatching these games. So I figured I'd torture him a little bit more for 9 plays, 5 pass plays, and 4 run plays. Steven, before we start, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. This film was not fun to watch. I usually grade the offensive line performers, but across the board, it was really bad this week. And thankfully, Justin Herbert is, he's got some mobility and great pocket awareness. Or else if this were Philip Rivers, I think that the Saints probably would have gotten 10 sacks. Like I don't think that's
Whew.
exaggerating to say how bad this offensive line performance was.
Yeah, pretty bad. All right, let's get right into it. We got 9 plays. Here we go. Start with the pass plays. Here's the first one. Let's run it through real fast. We'll run through each play, and then we can go back. You can talk about the whole shebang. So let's run through it to get a reference.
Cool.
This is 3rd and 12 from the Chargers 15, and they actually threw it on first down. So just saying.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this fired up. I'm on Adobe Premiere Pro, guys, so we can kind of pause it, go back and forth and all that. So here we go.
Okay, so this one isn't anything like complex. The Saints did a lot of, different things. Right now, when you see this picture, you see that they're showing pressure, but ultimately Malcolm Jenkins is going to drop back and they're only going to rush 4. The right side of the offensive line does okay here. Ultimately, this play is just about Sam Tevi. So if you want to go show it again, Tyler, this is really Sam Tevi. Pause right here. Okay, so yeah, right there. That's fine. So as an offensive lineman, you never want your shoulders to come over your toes. That gives all the leverage to the defensive lineman. And in this case, I forget his name. I want to say his last name is Hendrickson. When you're face forward like that, it's very easy for the defensive lineman to just slap your hands away, which is what happens here. And then, kind of rip through and then make the sack. If you look at the right side of the offensive line, they're doing okay. This is just all about Sam Tevi. Cam Jordan kind of beats Trey Pipkins, but that's manageable. This particular play is all about Sam Tevi, and he's been pretty good up until now. He certainly struggles in certain things, and the number one thing he struggles with is leverage and maintaining that leverage throughout. It's a big reason why he struggles to stop spin moves. So this one as a whole, as a unit, it's not terrible. It's just Sam Tevi got beat really badly and, forced a 3 and out.
Lovely. First sack of the season, right? For Sam Tevi?
Yes. It was the first sack that Sam Tevi allowed. Other people on Twitter were saying like, oh, that's because they have Justin Herbert, a mobile quarterback. It's like, well, a stat is a stat. So, Sam Tevi, picked a bad time to have a bad game, but, it is what it is.
Right. Okay. So this play, they actually the drive, they started with a Guyton sweep. So technically a run play, but not like a run up the middle play. Here we go.
So again, showing pressure, and then they drop and ultimately bring 4. The left side on this one they do okay. This, like the other one, is all about Trey Pipkins getting beat. And again, the leverage issue. If you watch Trey Pipkins kind of take this deep pass set, look where his head is and look where his toes are. You see him totally bent over. And you can't do that against a guy like Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan is one of the more underrated pass rushers in this league. And, he's going to make you pay 9 times out of 10 if your leverage is bad. On the left side, they are doing a little bit of a stunt. Hendrickson is trying to come outside and then loop back in. Forrest Lamp and Sam Tevi do an okay job passing that off. That was something that they really struggled with. I tweeted about one of those particular plays where they have to do a better job of looping that around. Actually, looking back at that, Forrest Lamp doesn't pass it off at all. So if you watch Rankins, who lines up in between Feeney and Lamp right now, he's going to come all the way across Forrest Lamp and Sam Tevi's face, and then Hendrickson is going to loop around. And if Cam Jordan doesn't beat Trey Pipkins, Hendrickson probably has a sack here. So if you want to play it again, so you see him loop in like that. As when you're in middle school, a lot of the times they'll teach offensive linemen, you kind of like hold hands until like the very last second. I don't know if anyone else has seen that, but that is basically just to, be a wall with your other offensive lineman that's with you. And so in the NFL, obviously you don't have to do that. But right now where Tyler has it paused, Sam Tevi needs to realize like, hey, Hendrickson's looping around, and there needs to be some kind of communication, like a switch kind of call between the two of them. And that will lead to them passing off. But Forrest Lamp kind of just sticks with Sheldon Rankins, which leaves Hendrickson, wide open hit on Justin Herbert if Cam Jordan doesn't get him first.
Very nice. Or very terrible, but thank you, Steven. All right, this one. I mean, what do you think of this play call, I guess, first off?
So the play call I actually liked. This is one that I realized, Donald Parham, he's the first tight end in. So there's Hunter Henry on the far left who's going to motion across the right, leaving Donald Parham kind of on an island out there. The play to me looked like it was designed to be a delayed block and then fade out from Donald Parham. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but first and foremost, you have to block it well. And then I think Justin Herbert fakes this to Neighbors. I don't even think he fakes it to Joshua Kelly. The problem right here on this play, if you want to play it and then I'll talk through it, is going to be Trey Pipkins again. He's going to try and cut block on the defensive end, which he totally whiffs. And then he leaves Virgil Green in just, a terrible spot where Virgil is trying to block two guys at once. And, Quentin Nelson probably can block two guys at once, but that's probably it in the NFL, man. So, leaving a tight end like Virgil Green, who is a good blocker in this kind of situation. I wish we could zoom in right here, but you can see Trey Pipkins is already like on the ground. On the other side, Sam Tevi is also doing a cut block and also does a poor job of it. So, I almost just wish that if that this is a pass call coming in as an offensive lineman, it's almost better to try and get your hands on a guy and then get beat than it is to try and cut block and just whiff completely. So, this play again is all about Trey Pipkins whiffing on a cut block, which I loathe cut blocks. I wish no offensive line ever in any unit of football would cut block. Get rid of it. It doesn't work at all. If you're pulling outside in space, cut blocks are fine. But if you're cut blocking from the line of scrimmage, it never works out. And, it leaves Virgil Green in a terrible situation right here.
Out of curiosity, I think I saw the same. I don't know if it was Pipkins' responsibility, but I saw the same kind of double team on Green, except it was Hunter Henry. Same thing. Had to pick between two guys, put either arm up on one guy and just prayed. Is that Pipkins again? Do you remember seeing that play?
I do remember that one. I think you're talking about the one where Keenan Allen scored, right?
I don't recall, but I know Henry at some point had to do like a double team just like this.
Yeah. So on Keenan Allen's touchdown, when Justin Herbert escapes out of the pocket, he motions Hunter Henry in, and then Malcolm Jenkins kind of comes on a delayed blitz. And so Hunter Henry has one on the inside, one rusher on the inside, one rusher on the outside. And really, he was not decisive and he kind of just like backpedaled until the last minute. He needs to be decisive and right away take the inside rusher. And then Justin Herbert is responsible for Malcolm Jenkins. And luckily it worked out. But, as an offensive lineman or as a tight end, if you're blocking, you should be taught to always take the inside rusher first. And then the quarterback is responsible for the free rusher on the outside. So that was just Hunter Henry not being decisive. This particular one, again, it's Trey Pipkins missing on a cut block, completely missed anything. And then Virgil just gets left on an island.
Alrighty then. We do have the Allen play later, so we will get to that.
Yeah.
This one, 3rd and 11 from the 48. This is the incompletion to Williams that if given just a little bit more time, Herbert probably would have completed it. So here we go.
Again, so you see the Saints showing pressure, showing 5. I think they drop in this one. I'm not sure. Yeah, so they drop one rusher and they rush 4. This play didn't seem like it was designed to be a stunt. If you watch Demario Davis, he kind of comes in left and then loops around right. But to me, this isn't anything complex. This is just about Ryan Groy getting beat. And, I hate to keep picking on the guy, but he just, he doesn't bring much to the table for me. So, against a linebacker, this kind of thing should never happen. we'll see what his leverage is. His leverage looks okay. I guess maybe it was a stunt. Maybe just Dan Feeney needs to pass, or Ryan Gordon needs to pass that off to Dan Feeney. But I don't know. To me, that just looks like Groy gets beat. And then look at Forrest Lamp on the left. Like, he had been playing really well, but when you see an offensive lineman just kind of on an island like that, it's never a good thing. You got to go and find work.
Yeah.
So that was something that he had done really well with. It's something that Ryan Groy does not do well at all. But as an offensive guard, like, you're taught, if no one's rushing at you, you got to go find something to do. And Quentin Nelson, best guard in the league, like, he is amazing at that. As we know, that was one of the plays when he just walloped Melvin Ingram. That was because he went and looked work. He was free, and so he just went and looked for work, and that's what a guard has to do. So I don't know. I'd have to me, that just looks like Groy gets beat, but
yeah,
I guess I could understand how that was tough, because I don't know. Anyways, so this is the Keenan Allen touchdown, right?
Yeah, this is the Keenan Allen touchdown. A positive play in the end.
Yeah, so Hunter Henry starts out wide, and then Justin Herbert's going to motion him in closer, realizing that Malcolm Jenkins makes 7 rushers against the Chargers' 6 blockers. So, I mean, obviously it worked out.
What a play, though. Jeez.
It's a hell of a play by Justin Herbert, man. He keeps on making these plays where I'm just like, my gosh.
It's ridiculous.
So right here, everything on the protection is going to be shifted to the left. So Sam Tavy is going to get number 22. Lamp's going to get 91. Feeney's going to get 47, and so on and so on. And so Hunter Henry is responsible first and foremost for Cam Jordan, number 94. And then, it's 7-on-6. So Justin should be responsible for Malcolm Jenkins. The rest of the line actually do pretty well. It's just that Hunter Henry, he couldn't decide. He wasn't decisive. I don't know what was going on in his mind there. But he just has to decide, I'm either going for Malcolm Jenkins or I'm going to Cam Jordan. And, the blocking scheme and everybody else shifting to the left tells me that he was responsible for Cam Jordan, and then ultimately just wasn't decisive enough. So maybe there was a miscommunication there, but, when Justin motions him in closer and everybody else is going to the left, to me that states that Hunter should have been responsible for Cam Jordan.
One more time.
Oh, so good, man. And it's not like Cam Jordan and Malcolm Jenkins are scrubs. Like,
right.
Malcolm Jenkins had 6 sacks last year for the Eagles, and Cam Jordan had like 14. So, escaping from those two, it was so special, man.
Alrighty.
I've never been happier to be wrong in my life.
Oh, are you kidding me? No, absolutely. This is good stuff. All right, back to bad stuff. So let's go the run game. The reason they ran it so many times, well, not the only reason, but sometimes, that pass protection was terrible. So they had to find some way to try to protect Herbert a little bit. Unfortunately, the run game was worse. So here we go. This is 2nd and 10 from the 17. This is a negative 2-yard play to Justin Jackson. Here we go.
Unfortunately, very common.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an RPO. I think this might have been one of the ones that I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's KJ Hill that motions behind.
Yeah.
So I would love, talking about ways to fix the run game, I would love to see Justin be a little more aggressive in these situations, Justin Herbert, that is, and maybe, throw that to KJ Hill or run it himself. So as an RPO, that means everybody on the offensive line is going to try and reach to their left. So Hunter Henry has to get 91. Sam Tavy is going to come up to the linebacker, Demario Davis, and so on down the line. So number 92, Marcus Davenport, is going to have a free rush. And look at Ryan Groy's arm, man. He's getting that way up
that's
there.
What I was wondering. I paused it there. What is that? Like superhero landing?
I guess.
Like ice skater.
I don't know. So at the point of attack, you're going to have, it looks like Forrest Lamp is going to pull out, actually. So pause. Okay. So it looks like Forrest Lamp is trying to kick out the defensive end, and Hunter Henry is going to come up, and then look at Ryan Groy try and execute that cut block just terribly.
He was beautiful a second ago.
Yeah, look at that picture. Yeah, and then I'm trying to figure out what Trey Pipkins is doing, because to me that looks like maybe he thinks he's supposed to get number 99. But, right here at this picture, that is all bad, because Sam Tevy got beat. Groy got beat. You have Marcus Davenport free, so if Justin keeps it, Marcus Davenport is there, and then Demario Davis. So there's no wiggle room. And I was pretty critical of Justin Jackson and Joshua Kelly against Tampa Bay, but yeah, it's hard to be a running back when your offensive line gives you this picture.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Pipkins was. I mean, it looks like the whole right side just kind of me. I'm not really sure what the plan was there.
Oh man, like as a running back, the last thing you want to see is like right as you get to the line of scrimmage, you have three guys just running right at you.
Mm-hmm. Yay. All right, enough of that one.
Yay.
All right, this one is the running play to Guyton. They tried. They really did try.
It was creative. I like the play design for sure. And what's crazy about this too is like Joshua Kelly had some space out there too. So, I can see what Shane Steichen is trying to set up. And that's something that Anthony Lynn talked about is, Shane is always trying to set things up. And I can see like the different options that they may have down the road. So it looks like everybody on the offensive line again is trying to reach left. So Marcus, or I think this one is Cam Jordan, is designed to be basically a free rusher. But then you look at Hunter Henry, it looks like Hunter Henry just kind of runs right past Cam Jordan. So maybe it's meant to work out where Guyton is just meant to make Jordan miss. But the offensive line, like what they're doing is not that bad. Just what Hunter Henry decides to do, I would have to know more about this play and like what it's designed to do, because he looks right at Cam Jordan and just keeps running. And I like Jalen Guyton a little bit more than I did before, but I don't know if he's the right player for this kind of call where he has to make someone miss in space.
Right.
Because he's almost exclusively like a catch and run guy. I would love to see that be Joe Reed.
Nah.
But apparently that's not happening.
No, it is not.
Even if this were Justin Jackson, I think maybe he could make Cam Jordan miss, but Jalen Guyton is hardly an elusive player.
I swear I thought this was Tyron Johnson before, but I guess not.
I thought it was too, but Tyron did get a jet sweep earlier.
Oh, okay. That's why. Gotcha.
Yeah. This play design is good and it's creative. You can see what Shane Steichen's thinking here, but I just don't know if Hunter Henry is meant to leave Cam Jordan like that or what. Because Cam Jordan against Jalen Guyton is hardly something I want to see again.
Right. What do you think? Good old juke back to the middle. Open range.
There's space. He's got a lane.
Yeah.
Mike Williams is blocking good up top. Dan Feeney's in a good position. Again, I don't know what Hunter Henry was supposed to do, but if Jalen Guyton can cut this back, he's got a lane and got positive yards, but maybe he was just no dice.
They can't all be winners. All right. Well, if you haven't guessed yet, this next play is a negative play. This one's Joshua Kelly for -5, which you lose 5 yards on a run play. Something really messed up. So let's see how this goes.
Shocker. Guess who got beat on this one?
Bad.
So Ryan Groy is gonna pull out and he's gonna try and be a lead blocker for Joshua Kelly out on the edge. And so whenever that happens, the right tackle, has to take this defensive end and wash him down. Like you don't even have to push him back. You just have to make sure that he doesn't get outside of you or beat you across your face. And not only does he not do his job, he then creates a logjam. So Dan Feeney and Forrest Lamp cannot do their jobs either.
Wow.
So Dan Feeney, if you go back to the start, the intention of this play is probably going to be that Dan Feeney reaches up to that linebacker number 47 and Forrest Lamp takes over the guy over Dan Feeney. But Trey Pipkins, again, he doesn't do his job, and then he impedes the other two from doing their jobs as well. Because up top, this is blocked really well. You look at Virgil Green, he's in a good position. You look at Hunter Henry, he's in a good position. Then you have Gabe Neighbors, not the best blocker in the world, but he has a lane on that safety. So if Trey Pipkins does his job right here, This is a good run. This is a well-designed play, well executed by the tight ends and the fullback. At least the fullback's in a good position. But so often as an offensive line, if one person is not doing their job, then the play is going to get screwed. I tweeted about that play for Forrest Lamp where he went the wrong way. Forrest Lamp goes the wrong way and the entire play goes to hell. So again, this is another example. As an offensive line, you have to be cohesive and everybody has to moving in the same spots and doing your job all together. Otherwise you end up with this where it could have been, a 10, 15-yard run, and instead it's a 5-yard loss because Trey Pipkins doesn't do his job.
All right, last one. Last one. I'm sure there were 15 to 20 more we could have thrown on here.
There were a lot of bad plays. Yeah. This was not a good week.
All right, last one.
There's no wiggle room for Justin Jackson at all right there. So what you're going to get is a double team by Hunter Henry and Sam Tevi. And then Hunter Henry is going to go out and get that nickel corner. You have a double team by Forrest Lamp and Dan Feeney. And then Forrest Lamp is meant to come off and get Demario Davis. But it just gets so clogged up. And a lot of that is because this defensive tackle, I want to say it's the one name that I can't pronounce, in Yamada or something like that. He just does a good job of, taking on this double team and beating it. So if you want to go step by step right here. Yeah, that's it. And then Demario Davis ends up free. The other linebacker ends up free. So again, if you have someone that does their job, then you end up with a good space. And maybe there's some cutback there, but Demario Davis fills that hole pretty quick. And then, on the backside, you can't ask Steven Anderson to keep that block for longer than a couple seconds. So this is going to be double teams across the board from the line. And Sam Tevi and Hunter Henry do okay. But then because Forrest Lamp and Dan Feeney don't get any movement or any push on that defensive tackle, it just creates a logjam and then frees up Demario Davis to cut that lane off. And now right here, what Justin Jackson's looking at, I either go left and I run right into Demario Davis, or I go straight and maybe I get a couple yards. I think this play got 1 yard, right?
I have it as -1.
-1. Okay.
So
that's a lose-lose situation for a running back to be in. Do I get hit by one of the best linebackers in the game? Do I try and cut it back and see what happens? Because, this play was just kind of doomed from the start.
I think he would have gained 1, but he tried to spin out of it and do something else. And then now he's back there. I think that's why he lost it.
Sam Tevi, why are you on the ground?
I think he's been on the ground most of these plays. So, it's just, I never played offensive line. I don't know. I just ran through the hole you tried to make, but I never really, I don't know jack squat about offensive line, but I assume falling on the ground every play is a minus.
No, it's not good. It's the whole thing from Monday. It was all bad. And, we're going to get into on our full episode about the play calling and stuff like that. But if the offensive line does their jobs better, and, maybe it's just a personnel issue with not having Brian Balaga and Trey Turner, but, Dan Feeney and Forrest Lamp didn't do very well either. And neither did Sam Tevi. So they picked a bad week to not be a very good unit. But, then again, if freaking Michael Badgie makes his kick, we're having a different conversation. So it was just,
what a game. What a game, guys. I hope you're here at the end with us still, living through all that misery with us. If you haven't drank enough yet, go ahead and give yourself a shot. Give yourself a shot for every time someone ended up on the ground. Steven, thank you very much for joining us. I couldn't have done this without you because I literally didn't do anything but listen to you and scroll through this. So I appreciate it. Definitely give Steven, the podcast, and me a follow if you see this. Take care.